This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group, and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is Rakesh Bhatia. Rakesh, nice to meet you.
Absolutely a pleasure.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do and what brought you here?
So again, Rakesh Bhatia. Professionally, I am principal or partner in one of the big four, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC.
Okay.
I live in Great Falls with my wife and 2 kids.
Wonderful.
And have been in this area for about 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're a partner in the Pricewaterhouse, you said?
That is correct.
Okay. But what is this thing about Pratham, which I may not have pronounced it correctly, and what does it do and why are you involved in this thing?
So Pratham is a non-profit organization, and it is actually one of the largest non-profit organization in India, very focused on education for underprivileged children.
Educations for underprivileged children, which includes also the minorities?
Which includes everyone who cannot afford to be in the schools.
So you're making education affordable, accessible, and empowering them with educations and giving them economic opportunities.
That is correct.
Is that
actually, it is actually filling up a need which is very critical in India. As we all know that in India, there are about 100 million kids who are actually not getting the education. That's a big number, right? So there are very few organizations which have taken this big cause.
So they don't go to school?
Well, even
you're talking about education, the K through 12 education or higher education, or both?
It's a lower education, elementary school, 6 to 14-year-old. But that's a great point that you just mentioned. They may still be enrolled in schools, but they're not getting the education, right? Point. Because many of these kids, they are actually in the villages, in the districts, and so far they cannot either make it to the schools or their schools do not provide they don't have the facility to teach.
So the Pratham facilitates the accessibility of the education by paying?
No.
And also...
No, it is actually more by providing, they have a volunteers.
Opportunities.
They have a volunteers who actually go to these kids.
Okay.
They have their own learning curriculum, very innovative way of doing it, and they actually teach them, and they have a program called Read India, which essentially, because right now, if you look into even the 5th grade students in India, they cannot read 2nd grade textbook, 50% of them. I think it's a huge number. And so Pratham has come up with a model which essentially they can reach to those kids through their volunteers, through the funds and everything, and then being able to provide them the education that they need.
Okay, so after they get this education, they go to the elementary school, they go to colleges, they go to universities. So obviously they have the others, and this is the way your investment becomes sustainable.
Yeah, so Pratham's view is that education is so critical, and it is almost the starting point for all of the issues. So
education is the gift that keeps on giving.
Absolutely. They want to get these kids ready for, and they have other programs, vocational training, they also have a second chance and a few others as well. But this is essentially making sure that these kids, they start right, so that they can actually move ahead in their whole life.
So what has been your success story, Rakesh?
Yeah, so
what have you done so far that made it a little bit different, that made impact, that made influence, to lifting them out of the poverty and empowering them in education?
Yeah, so I got involved in Pratham about 2 years ago. And when I got involved, I did my due diligence of why I should get involved in an organization called Pratham, right? So I spent some time with the founder of Pratham, Dr. Madhav Chauhan.
Yes.
And for 20 years, this organization has been around. One of the
How many years?
20 years.
And it's
95 when it was started.
It's propelled and financed by the people in the United States?
Well, United States is one source. There are many people in India who are also providing a lot of funds.
So they're contributors?
They are contributors. Overall, I think they generate about somewhere around $18–20 million.
How do you instill in the Indian people, the people who are really rich and who's supposed to give, they're on the top echelon, they're very wealthy, but they don't support the people who are poor, who are voiceless, who have no hope.
Yeah.
How do you instill in them the love of giving?
So I think it's an excellent question, Frank, but I would say our effort is not to really sell Pratham, right?
Okay.
It's not about saying you must give. What
we're trying to do, money is not just the giving, it's money, your time, your talent.
Exactly, it's a time, talent, and everything. The first thing we are trying to do is for them to appreciate the problem itself. Yeah. Once they know that this is what it takes for us to be able to uplift those kids,
Yeah.
then it is up to them that how they want to contribute. We know that in $25 they can have one child in the school for the whole year, or with $100 they can create a library in India. Now, is that something big enough for them to worry about? No. It's just that they have
It's
to
small
have
enough to make a difference.
it is something which they need to believe in.
I
Right?
agree.
That's what is our effort. So you would not find the Pratham volunteers trying to sell anything. It is a more of a step. And the reason I got involved was exactly the same. I got bought into the fundamentally what they're trying to do.
Well, it's not only buying into it, it's believing in
Yeah.
it because you believe that education uplifts the soul. It empowers the people. It's the gift that keeps on giving. It's a powerful equalizer that gets people out of the poverty.
Right.
And that's why you believe in it, and that's the reason I think you're engaged in it.
Exactly. And that's the reason. And the other reason is when you look into, there are many organizations, of course, they would want to do this.
Sure.
When I look into Pratham's view of this, is one is the very scalable model. The problem is big, and it's big enough that it cannot be solved by just one person, right? So someone has to provide a platform. So if I am giving, I want to see that it is making a difference, right?
It's when they succeed, we all succeed.
Exactly. And if there is someone who is taking this as a cause and they are ready to take this to the next level, and my involvement, to be honest, even if I give money or if I give my time, it's a very small involvement compared to what Pratham and the Pratham volunteers are doing to reach out to those kids.
I love the idea of what you're doing in terms of educating the young generation who have so much to give to the world.
Yeah,
And if we can uplift them, they can change the landscape of the world.
absolutely.
And especially those who have no hope, who have no voice.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It can change. It can
It
change.
can change not India, it can change the world.
It can change the world.
You're talking about 400 million people.
Yeah, so it is very, very critical for us to remain.
Well, I only said 400, I didn't say 1.2 billion.
Yeah, exactly. That's about 25-30% of
That's
Indians.
exactly
So
what I
that's
said, what I
who
thought
are-
so, yeah.
Yeah, so-
Well, wouldn't they do the wonders to the world if we uplift them, we give them hope, we give them help, we can extend our hand
Yeah.
and empower them?
It is actually, it's doing some of that now.
Good.
The way I'm seeing that how Pratham has approached this, it is in now 21 states out of 29.
Okay. Is it in UP?
It is in UP.
Which part of the UP?
Well, I don't know all the districts and all the
Okay, I'm
villages
from
and names.
there, so I thought I should ask you.
Pratham.org.
Okay,
you would
I'll
find the
check it
names of
out.
all of those.
I'll check
right?
it out.
So, but I think this is important what you just mentioned though. It is essentially we need to get started from somewhere. So Pratham started with one slum in Bombay, or now Mumbai. Now it is in those 21 states. It's in 100 plus districts. It's in the rural villages. It's touching, overall it has touched 30 million kids in India. Every year it's touching 7-8 million kids. It is having 30,000 volunteers. The scale that they have put together, the passion behind this, the vision
And the commitment.
and the innovativeness. I mean, the way they have actually approached the whole thing is remarkable. And I think the reason I actually decided to jump into this, and now I have taken the position of being president of DC chapter.
Oh, you are president of DC chapter.
That's
And how
correct.
many chapters they have in the United States?
14.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you're one of the 14.
I have the 14, and honestly, I did not know enough about Pratham. I had heard about it 3 years
Have
ago.
you gone to the, what I consider to the ground area, which is in India, to see how it is working?
Yeah, so I have actually done a couple of things. I have actually spent, as I said, time with the founder. We spent 4 or 5 hours together, went through the whole plan, vision, and everything.
Yes.
We are also supporting in Bangalore some of those their villages, and I have actually taken a chance to look into that as well. So all of that has given me a further, at least it's compelling, that I am very convinced that this is the right thing to do and the right way to approach this.
So join him in this journey so that we can together change the face of India, one family, one individual, one village at a time, which
That's
is what
cor-
you're doing.
That's correct. So it is an important and very noble cause. It is also.
And how
on
do they
the-
get hold of you if they want to contribute and they want to get engaged, our audience?
Yes, so first of all, visit pratham.org or prathamusa.org, both sites. You would find a lot of good information there. There is also an email address. You also can reach through there to I'm a chapter president, and from there you would be able to get to me as well. We also have a gala coming up on
Yeah, I
October
want to
3rd.
talk to you. Is that how you raise your money from the gala?
That's one of the many ways. Gala is more to thank those donors who actually have been donating for Pratham cause, and we take that opportunity to actually thank them. But and so the gala is on October 3rd. We are doing at JW Marriott. It will be a great evening.
Where, in Northern Virginia?
No, in DC.
In DC?
In JW Marriott on October 3rd evening. So, and you can find that how to actually attend that. All that information is there on the website. But in addition to that, there are multiple other ways in which we are trying to get involved and get the community involved. Whether it is small events, doing some event at someone's home, bring some speakers, being able to understand more about Pratham. That's the way in which my hope as a president is that I'm creating the right level of awareness. And then it is up to them, for all of our community,
to take it to the next level, next height.
And also provide them an opportunity to contribute, whether it is connecting them to their village or their areas where they want to send their money or support this, or they want to support Pratham at an overall cause. That's a kind of a conversation. I also want to talk to them to see if they have any ideas, because the cause is pretty clear, right? We want to educate these kids. Different ideas,
and regardless who they are, regardless of caste, creed, religion, race.
Anyone who needs that.
Anyone who wants to uplift their soul.
Absolutely. That's what we want. And it is not only that Pratham is doing independently, they are also collaborating with the government, with the school system.
Sure.
Making
so there's a partnership.
Absolutely. Making sure everything is coming together so that they can actually solve, or at least help to solve, this problem.
Now, do you track some of these students when they go from primary level to the elementary schools, to the college, to the universities, and then you can track them so they can give back to the Pratham, and this way the investment that you're making is investment, by the way.
Right.
It's not a charity, it's not a philanthropy.
Absolutely.
It's keeping the hope alive.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. So do you track them?
So there are two levels that Pratham actually is, and I, as I said, when I looked into Pratham in more detail and I did my own due diligence, Pratham actually has maybe one of the most involved tracking system. Very good transparent system where you can actually know that how, first of all, your funds are going, and there are multiple stories.
So there's a transparency.
It's a transparency. It is actually, they have something which is not only that Pratham uses their own measurement, Indian government is relying on Pratham to find out.
But Indian government does not fund this thing.
They do not fund this, but they actually benefit from what Pratham is doing in terms of their research, in terms of the assessment of that, how the child, they track child, that how their literacy has improved.
And each child can make a difference.
Each child can make a difference. I have seen so many stories, Frank, that where I could actually, so that someone who actually was trained in Pratham, maybe, let's say, when they were 4-year-old, and now they are the teacher of Pratham teaching other kids. There are kids who actually have now become, they have joined hotels, and they are actually part of they are the bell captains, and there are others, they have only gone through the Pratham program. And this is where they are making a difference. And these are not 1 or 2 stories, there are thousands. And that's where people who actually are supporting Pratham, they truly believe in this, and this is actually moving the needle. And I hope that we all can do that.
My question to you is education. You talk elementary and K through 12 education. Do you, let's suppose I am a student and part of the Pratham that you've been helping me, and I live in UP. My father cannot afford to send me college, university, but I'm a good student. I'm really dedicated, I'm passionate. So do you give a scholarship program for them to go to school and financial help if they have a hardship?
Well, so through this program, there's no cost that they are paying.
But if they want to go to university, IIT.
Yeah, so right now, most of the program that Pratham is doing, it is starting from 6 to 14-year-old.
Okay, so then it's a K through 12 kind of
K to 12.
So you talk about the K through 12 education, you talk about it, and then you're saying you're building the next step is to track them and to help them, empowering them education with the colleges, university, and vocational training. And skill learning. Skill learning and so on and so forth. That's what you're doing.
Right now, it is not for the college and others, but it's more focused on vocational. Yeah.
But you intend to do that to take it to the next step.
The vision that Dr. Chauhan and Dr. Chavan and
others
have
is from India, from the United States?
From India. So he spent a lot of time in the U.S. and then he decided that this was his calling. So he decided to move back.
God bless him.
And for 20 years ago, absolutely. And he has done some fantastic and incredible things for Pratham. And so his vision is really continue to grow this program to help more people. So that's where it is heading.
So when he's gone, who will carry on?
So, well, we all wish that he would be always associated with Pratham, and I think he would be. He is very, very passionate. But also now there is a new president. He has already given his
the baton is passed to the next generation.
And her name is Dr. Rukmini Banerjee. She was actually here in the DC, and we actually had a small get-together with her, with some of our donors and prospects and others who actually wanted to hear from her. So, yeah, she also has been involved with Pratham for a very long time. Between them, it's a great team, and it's really a role model for many of us who actually want to give back.
Giving back, as President Kennedy once said, to whom much is given, much is expected. It's much more rewarding to give than to make money, and you're a businessman to understand it. Tell the audience, A, how did they get hold of you? How did they contact you? Why should they give it to Pratham?
So, so to get hold of me or any one of our board members.
Go to the webpage?
That's right. So we are 21 board members, so they can go to the website, and any of our board members, including me, will all be very, very happy to help you in providing any information that you want, any way you want to get involved into the Pratham program. In addition, there are advisory boards now that we have about 4 of them. They're also very passionate about this. So first of all, between us, through the Pratham website, you would get all of the information that you need to get involved. Second, if you come to the gala on October 3rd, you will be able to get much more information about Pratham, the vision, the strategy, how it is making a difference, the stories, and also a good entertainment. So you would actually be able to get, and also meet other people who are also in the similar mindset of supporting it. Okay? So that's the way in which you need to get involved.
So my other question is, with this organization, what is the discriminator that you have, the other nonprofit organizations do not have it? So you're mainly focused on education.
Yeah, so Pratham is focused on education, and first of all, I would make it clear, I think all nonprofit organizations they're all doing incredible job. And I think we need all of them. Pratham, it's not a competition. It is the problem is so big that we need to address this with all of us collectively. That's one. And second, it is individually with whom you can relate to. There are some who are focused on education, some on environment, on health, on different things, where you can relate to, where you can see that this is where I want to get associated with. That's where you would actually put your time and investment.
You talked about health in a minute ago. What about environment?
Yeah, so there's the health environment, but Pratham is focused on education.
Education.
But there are many other such organizations, and I personally get involved in others for my other, but I think it is important for us to be able to address many of these different issues for us to help the world. I strongly believe, Frank, that if we have come and we all be successful, have reached to the top, we must send the elevator down so the others can come up.
So we have done well in this country. Because America gives the opportunity to succeed, you and me. It's time for you to do good in India. Is that your message is?
What are the message? India to start with. I mean, there are many.
That's a good way. There are many other places as well.
There are many people in this world who actually can be benefited. We are all blessed. We have been able to take, and I don't think that we actually walked this whole journey alone. There are many who helped me at least, and there are many who were my mentors, many who actually helped me all along. And if I can do a little bit, I feel actually honored and privileged rather than be even someone saying that thank you. I think that it is my privilege that I'm being able to do what I have got this opportunity to do.
Very good said. Question is, if we sit here 20 years from now, hopefully, what do you think Pratham will look like?
I think by that time,
20 years from now.
20 years from now, Pratham should have been in every state in India.
Not every city, every town.
Right now it is in 21 out of 29.
Okay.
Be able to continue to expand in every village, every block, every district, which is their vision. That's where they want to get to have education for every child and they're learning well. That's what is their goal, right? But beyond India, I think that if
you want to expand it,
Pratham should help, and I think they're already on their way.
What about South Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh,
They're already
Nepal?
on their way, where there are many countries who are actually trying to follow the model that Pratham is putting together, the innovative approach that they have taken, and how it can help the remaining or other places as well, where it can be useful. So I see that Pratham, even though has achieved a lot in these 20 years, I think it is still the beginning. There's a lot more to be done, and collectively we all need to do a lot more in the next 20 years.
So what drives you?
I think my passion is giving. I do think that I have been very blessed. I have
Uniquely blessed.
uniquely blessed. I would not trade my life with anything.
And
But
you
now
embody
it's
the
time-
American dream.
That's right. So
So-
now it's my turn
to give back.
to be able to give back. And I think whatever little I can do, I always feel blessed that I have done it.
It's the education that provided you the opportunity for you to be the best you can be to the person you are today. And
I would, yeah, I
that,
would say.
that laid the firm foundation for you to flourish.
Absolutely.
Which is you want other people to do the same.
I think education is absolutely critical because it's not only just educating kids and declaring victory. It is, if we need to look into what problem we are solving. We are solving the problem where there is a poverty in India. If you have an education issue, you cannot be able to fend for yourself. It is causing all of these, whether it's a child abuse, whether there is an issues, other social issues in India and other places. All those, the start of that or the origin of that is lack of education. So it is fundamentally solving that problem and then being able to solve other problems.
Lack of opportunity as well. But education will
absolutely.
create the opportunity.
Yeah.
Education will propel the individuals and move the nation forward.
Right.
Well, thank you, Rakesh, for coming here, and thank you for your passion, thank you for commitment, and thank you for all what you do for our country and for our community. We appreciate it very much.
It's my pleasure, and thank you again for giving me this opportunity to talk to everyone.
Say sure, by
Thank
all
you.
means. This is Frank